back, everyone, to another episode of the Offsides Podcast, the unofficial, official podcast of Charlotte Football Club. I am again your host, Andres Robledo. Hopefully, there's no audio issues on my side this time. Big apologies for that, but maybe you guys enjoyed the short episode. But as always, I am joined by my brother, Pablo Robledo, the co host. Pablo, how's the week been?
Too long. No, just kidding.
Did you at least have a good weekend?
Yeah, good weekend. We went up to the mountains, up to
To the
Asheville.
mountains?
Yeah, we went to Asheville.
True.
Saw some waterfalls, did some apple picking, family stuff.
Nice.
I didn't watch the
Did
game that night because I figured I might ruin the weekend.
Yeah, it
It
definitely ruined mine.
could have almost did, but I did catch the replay when we got back.
Yeah,
So I was
just let it ruin your Monday.
I was just mad at everybody at work instead.
Nice. Well, before we get to that, a little bit of news up top. So Charlotte FC have extended the contracts of Brent Bronico and Andre Shinyashiki. I don't have the details in front of me, but I think they are both until 2025, so about 3-year deals with options for a fourth year.
Yeah.
Good to see. I think recent performances definitely warrant the contract extensions for both those guys. What do you think?
Yeah, I thought there were pretty good contracts there. I think you and I have both discussed this before in regards to, getting these guys to sign on or just new players. Like, it's hard to get new guys because it seems like Charlotte doesn't have that a lot to offer in regards to, like, other clubs and cities.
Yeah.
So, like, getting them on for more than 2 years, I think, is exceptional on the negotiation parts of Charlotte. And with that fourth year option, I think that's good. I saw the little interview that Bronico had, and he's excited to stay. He's always wanting to play at Charlotte and all that. And he said he wants to win the MLS Cup with Charlotte. So, setting the bar high there for 3 years.
Yeah. I agree. But I'm glad he's got that ambition. He's definitely, been one of the most improved players. So I think, getting the extension makes sense, and excited to see what he continues to bring to the team as he continues to improve and as the roster continues to evolve and whatnot. Glad we're keeping him on. Same with Andre, obviously.
I was going to ask you about that. So when we first started the season, when we first started this podcast, you and I were both kind of on the same boat in regards to Bronico and how we felt about him. And, we've seen his style of play change dramatically as the season has progressed, especially after the coach change. And what I was going to ask you was, what's your stance on Bronico now? Are you happy that are you glad that he signed a contract extension? Are you part of the team Bronico guys? Are you still not 100% on board?
No, I think I think it makes sense to extend his contract. He's done a lot for the team this season. He's played the most minutes. I think he has the most appearances alongside Kalina. He's done everything the team's needed him to be. He's, evolving his style of play now also to get, more forward up. I think before I thought his play was like very one dimensional, and like he kept the ball a lot but didn't really move it or anything. So I didn't really like a lot of the hype around him just because I just thought he's just kind of like your average guy out there. There's definitely better CMs in the world and also just better center mids like in the league, I thought at the time. But I think he's like improved so much, especially since Latanzas took over. And now that he's like getting up forward more, like he's getting shots off, he's making some really good runs that aren't always getting rewarded. Like we can get to in the Toronto game, but like he made a really good run in that game that if someone would have just played him the ball, he would have been in on goal 1-on-1. So like seeing stuff like that it's more I guess it's like more satisfying to watch, or kind of more what I was looking for in like a center mid player, especially as now that he's moving forward up the field. So yeah, I think I think he still gets a little bit overhyped, but I think he's definitely earned a lot of it lately. So I'm definitely a fan of his play lately.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
especially during the past few games where like now that Jones is kind of started in that back center defensive midfield role, and Bronico can go up more, and he seems to be helping a lot more in that attacking third, and even getting more shots. We're getting close to shots on goal. I'm starting to like his play style a lot better than when he was playing that defensive mid role.
yeah, yeah, I agree. There was and obviously like there's still can be improvements there, but I think out of all our center mids right now, he's probably we haven't seen Nuno Santos play yet, but out of all of them, he's probably the best performing one right now. So I think it makes sense to keep him on your roster, but certain players become available. I wouldn't mind seeing Charlotte go after them. Kind of as we saw, like kind of you can kind of do what Toronto did, right? Get some of these older European guys that still clearly have it, and there's definitely some in that position that I wouldn't mind seeing come to Charlotte. One that just became available today, Ross Barkley. Like he used to play for Chelsea. He was part of the England national team. Still pretty young. Like if Chelsea or if Charlotte were to like make a move for a player like that, like I think that would be, pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah. How does would that still work with our window transfer? Uh, like our transfer window being closed already, would we still be able to acquire players or no? No, right?
No, I don't think we. Yeah, not until the winter transfer window.
Yeah,
So if someone like that is like still available, I mean, it'd be a long shot, right? Like that guy, he's probably still going to want to play in like a top five league, especially with the World Cup coming up, and still being so young and stuff. It'd be a long shot for Charlotte to sign a player of that caliber. But I guess the main idea is like, if someone like that is available, even though we've just given Bronico an extension and he's been playing really well, like I still think the team should probably pursue something like that, just because, like, to me, and we can cover it in the Toronto game. Like, I think the midfield is still maybe not top tier to what it needs to be. Um, so that was just kind of my point there. Like, yes, he's done very well, but if someone else comes along, like the team should really look after that. Like, I don't think any spot on the roster is like fully safe or secure. I think there can be improvements made everywhere.
yeah, yeah. I think you're right. I think you're right. And I think we've also seen it kind of on the wingers. Seems to be a lot of competition for those spots. Um, now Vargas is starting to see more minutes, which I like. He had a lot
Yeah.
of shots this game. We'll cover that later, but we did see Shinshinsky take over Vargas' spot, and I'm just wondering if you think that's gonna be like the role that he's gonna play, that right winger.
Uh, so what they did in the game, and they did take Vargas out, but then they moved Serdursky out to his side and put Shinashiki in the center. So I think they kind of want to use him as like a center forward and not
Oh,
a winger, which I think makes sense because and the stats support this, but like Shinashinsky's not the best like distributor of the ball. He's not going to find the wide open guy, but
right.
he is like a very direct player. So I think that's kind of what you need out of your center forward. While Serdursky can do kind of both. He is really good at finding players and getting them the ball at the same time as finishing. So I think it makes sense to like try him out on the wing and have Shinashiki up front as the number 9. But like you said, there's a ton of competition on the wings right now, and you think of Adam Armour comes back next year. You still also haven't seen Christian Melo or Vinicius Melo play at all. So if he comes back next year injury free, like that's even more competition at the number 9 spot. Adam Armour provides depth at the outside back and the wing. So it'll be interesting to see how the squad continues to evolve.
You think they'll call back Koa, Annie, or you think they're gonna keep him at Independence?
It's a good question. I don't know.
Because I thought he did fine
Man,
when
that's
he played. Not
I thought so
superb,
too. I
but
like
good enough
Koa.
to stay on the squad.
It or at least be a good substitute off the bench.
Yeah.
Maybe Harrison Awful is probably going to retire at the end of this season. At least it's kind of like what I've heard. Or he's not going to be around much longer.
Mm-hmm.
Fuchs is 36. Maybe he's got another season or two left in him.
Right.
So we're definitely going to need the depth at it.
Yeah.
So maybe we see him get moved up to the first team more and be on the bench, which I wouldn't mind. Like you said, I thought Ko has played really well the few times that he has played for the team.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
interesting you
him
brought up
and
the thing about Fuchs because I was when I was watching Toronto and I saw him get subbed off. I'm just wondering, like, man, how many more seasons does this guy have? Like, not that he's looking bad or even tired. I thought he was doing just fine. And I thought it was a questionable sub to bring him out when I thought we should have probably went for a more aggressive. Um, but I was just thinking, like, I think this guy has maybe 2 seasons, 3 at best, before he either moves on and just completely retires.
Yeah, I think so too. That's kind of around the timeline I was thinking. Um, yeah, did I tell you I saw him outside of my office on Thursday.
Oh yeah, I saw your text that he said Fuchs is outside my office. I was
Yeah,
meant to
I was
tell you to go
I
get
was
an interview.
I was walking back from grabbing some lunch, and in front of my building, there's like these tables out there that people, like picnic tables that people sit out there. And I see a guy, and I'm like, that guy looks a lot like Christian Fuchs. And then I check his elbow, and he's got the star tattoo. I was like, oh, that is him. And he had like his wife, his nanny, and his kids all around him. So I didn't want to bother him, but I was like, holy crap. If he was by himself, I'd go ask for a photo. But I think he just had a newborn, so yeah, didn't want to disturb him when he's out enjoying some relaxing time.
No, yeah, that
It
was
was
noble of you.
Yeah, it was just crazy to see him in the city. It's I don't know, it was weird.
Yeah, it's weird when you see him out and about.
Yeah,
Was there any like other people that recognized him and asked for photos, or was he pretty much left alone?
yeah, it's pretty much left alone, which I gotta imagine that's probably something he's liking as being in the States. Like, yeah, you can be a professional athlete over here, professional football player or soccer player,
Mm-hmm.
but you're probably gonna get left alone just because I doubt Charlotte FC just isn't as popular as the Panthers are right now. I'm sure if it would have been Baker Mayfield there or something, he definitely would have been surrounded by people. But I think Fuchs is just that right level of famous where he's probably not going to get bothered too much.
It's interesting you bring that up because like football players, Panther players, they all wear like the helmet and all that stuff, so you're not seeing their faces quite that much.
Yeah,
Whereas like soccer players, that's all you see. But like you said, they can go out and about and not be bothered. They won't really get recognized as much. Whereas the football players, they'll have like a herd of people around them. So
yeah.
it's just weird how that works.
It's funny too because I was like in all my Charlotte FC gear. I had like my Charlotte FC jacket and then a polo on, and I was like, oh, I hope they didn't see me and be like, wow, what a fake fan. Doesn't even know that the captain's around. I was like, oh, I swear I'm supporting. I just don't want to bother you.
Should have got the nanny to take a picture. You'd be like, "Can I hold your
Yeah.
baby?"
Can I sign your baby?
Yeah.
Yeah. But so let's there's no other news from me. Do you have anything else, or did you want to cover a little bit of the Premier League?
Yeah, we can hit on that briefly. I mean, uh, Manchester United played Southampton, and I believe it was Fernando's that scored the only goal. It was a 1-0 victory for the
Nice.
Devils, and now they went from 14th to 8th. So moving on up.
Maybe they won't get regulated this season.
That would be a sad, sad day.
Can you imagine Ronaldo playing in the championship?
There's been so many rumors of him like leaving and going to all these other clubs, but he he's just like, I'm not leaving.
Well, I just don't think anyone can afford him. A lot of teams said no thanks. Like Juventus said no, Bayern Munich said no. Uh, I think Madrid was like, yeah, we're not interested. So, he definitely put the feelers out and was trying to leave, and everyone was like, yeah, no, we're good.
Yeah, that's what a
I'm
crazy
sure if he took a
down.
pay cut,
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it would even really hurt him that much. I'm just wondering if he truly, because I mean, these guys are getting up there in age, but they're still performing so well. But to like
yeah,
put him on the bench, um, it's just weird seeing him on the bench.
it had to happen eventually. Happens to all the greats.
Yeah, you think they like he's been at the top so long he doesn't know how to retire.
Yeah, I'm sure when he's been doing this for what, like 20 years.
More than that
So
since
like,
he was little.
yeah, but I mean, like, playing professionally.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like, I think he made his pro debut at like 17, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he's been doing this for more than half his life. I'm
Yeah,
sure it's got to be hard to like, especially when you're still better than a lot of players.
exactly.
Like I'm sure he could come to like the MLS or like the Dutch league or go to China or something or
Oof.
Turkey
Yeah, the Russian Premier
and
League or something.
yeah, and just make a ton of money and probably like dominate.
Right.
But you're talking about competing in the best league in the world, the most competitive one. It's gonna be hard to get time.
Yeah. Yeah. But still, it kind of makes me wonder, just like at what point do you like you just have to like hang your cleats up? Because it's being kind of more common along amongst these players. Like, Messi's still out there, Zlatan's still out there. I get Buffon's still out there, but he's a goalie.
Yeah, this like yeah like Ronaldo and Messi's like generation of players have definitely played longer than the generation before them because I remember like 29, 30 is like when players were like old,
Right.
and now like a couple years ago Hazard when he turned 29, that's when he got like a big contract to go to Madrid, and I was like that's crazy because usually like at least when we were growing up and I was in high school and stuff, like players would go to like a smaller team at like 30, 31. Like,
Yeah.
I think Drogba went to the team in Turkey at like 31, 32. Erlo went to the MLS around like 32, 33. Like so many guys kind of did that move, but now like you see like you said Ronaldo's 37 still going,
Yeah.
Zlatan still going.
And they're still hopping
Messi's kind
around
of a weird
leagues.
one.
Yeah, they're still hopping around leagues, but it's like very competitive leagues. The
Yeah.
Italian league, the French league. Well, maybe not the French league, but the
Yeah, I was
English
gonna say
league
Messi's
and
kind of the
the
one where I'm
Spanish.
like,
Yeah, the French league is like just heavily dominated by PSG, and that's it. And they still
yeah,
don't have a EFL championship.
yeah.
But
This might be the year. Neymar's been playing really
yeah, Neymar
nasty.
has been going out with a vengeance. But again, you got to think about like who they've been playing. They've been playing
Yeah,
5-0 games against other French teams. It's like they do well in that league, yes, but when it comes to the championship, that's where they fall apart, or that's where like the real competition starts to hit, and they're not as good as people seem. But I mean,
yeah,
their team is
yeah,
stacked this year, though.
yeah. It is. It's also like when players go to like Bayern Munich, I'm like, all right, well,
Mm-hmm.
like you're definitely gonna win the league, but I don't know.
Yeah,
Anyways, we're getting sidetracked.
yeah, but
And then yeah, Chelsea won this weekend 2-1 over Leicester City, Fuchs' old club. I wanted to ask him if he was gonna watch that match. I was like, you gonna watch the the Leicester game?
you'd be like, you want to get punched in the face?
Yeah.
No,
I do wonder how. I'm sure he still keeps up with them.
you think so?
Yeah, I mean, what they did winning the league in what was it like 2015? That is just So like that was just such a
Yeah,
long
it was
shot.
very unexpected. It's always kind of like the same, your Liverpool, Arsenal, Man U, Chelsea, like those.
City.
Yeah, those guys.
I
Never
mean, lately it's just been City and Liverpool.
right, but it's never like Leicester. You know, I don't know who
And
else.
it's funny too, because like when you go back and look at that squad, you're like, dang, they were stacked. Just no one knew it. Like they had probably one of the best CDMs in the world in N'Golo Kante. Jamie Vardy turned out to be like one of the best Premier League strikers in the last 10 years. Fuchs did really well. They had Kasper Schmeichel at goalie. He turned out to be an amazing goalie. At the time, Danny Drinkwater was playing really well.
But
They
did they
had
stay with the club after the championship, or
no,
did
a
they?
lot of those guys left.
Yeah, left for
Like
bigger, better
N'Golo Kante
contracts.
left for Chelsea. I
Right.
think Mara's left for City. Fuchs left for Charlotte. Now the only like big name that I know of that stayed was Vardy. I mean, he's still there playing. But I mean, a lot of those guys, yeah, they just like they got life changing money and had to. I mean, how you can't say no to that.
No, yeah. I mean, you gotta take care of you at the end of the day.
Yeah. But anyways, let's jump back into here in the states. We had our we had the White Walkers come visit. From up north. I'm back on my Game of Thrones kick. The new show coming out. Was up till like 2 a.m. watching that last night. But anyways, so we had Toronto FC come down to Charlotte. We thought maybe the revenge narrative was in play, but unfortunately, the Italian duo that Toronto FC have signed took us out once again, 2-0 this time. So some marginal improvements, but this definitely felt kind of like the season-ending game. Especially, I know you had to watch it on TV, but like if you were in that stadium, that was people felt very defeated after that game. And it was actually the first game where people left early. By the 80th minute, it got really empty, which was sad to see.
Yeah.
But what was your impression of the game? Watching it from the TV.
Um, Man, I didn't think we were gonna lose that game. From the way we played the first half, and the way we started the second half, I thought it was just a matter of time before we dropped one in on them. And then,
Yeah.
when they put one in on us, I was like, okay, well, we'll bounce back. It'll be a comeback win. Like, there's no way. Like the
Mm-hmm.
way we're playing, I was like, there's no way we lose this game. We've had so many shots on goals or just shots in general where we're just most for the most part we outshot them.
Yeah.
Um, but man, it
No, I mean that first half we definitely maybe dominated is the right word, but we were definitely the more like in control team. Like they had flashes of moments
right.
to get some, but I thought we definitely played the better game in the first half, and like you said, beginning of the second half as
If
well.
anything, I'm just gonna say that Toronto's goalkeeper just had one heck of a game because he stopped a lot of shots.
Which is crazy because he's had a terrible season.
Right, but he
I
was
think
on
he's
it
like
that
the
game.
third worst keeper. Yeah, he's like the third worst keeper in the of the league.
Like Vargas was getting a lot of shots. Did you see that little back
That
heel
back
shot?
heel,
Oh
oh
man,
my gosh!
yeah, chef's kiss. That thing
If he
was.
would have made that, I would have named my firstborn Kerwin. That would have been amazing.
Yeah, that
Imagine
was
that for your
sweet.
first goal.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That guy needs more minutes.
I think he'll get it. I think maybe we can talk on his performance, but much improved over last week's game
Yeah,
against Orlando. I think that performance is one that should be rewarded with another start.
yeah,
He had that back heel that forced a good save. He had the header that unfortunately went right to the keeper. But like, I mean, how often do we even see someone get on the end of a header? Like, so that's something nice to have. He had a couple of long range shots. Like, definitely needs to, I think, be involved more.
yeah. And one last thing I was gonna say was like talent wise, as far as like DPS goes, it's a huge gap between our DPs and Toronto's DPs. I mean, both goals came
Yeah,
from theirs, and
yeah,
those guys were just out there passing the ball between each other like they'd been playing for years. And for the most part, they were unstoppable. There was even one part in the second half where Toronto's number 10, which is one of their newly signed DPs, he just like got the ball at around the halfway mark and dribbled it right alongside Fuchs, and then Walk got on him to cover him, and like they still couldn't take the ball from him. I mean, those guys. I think you said in the last episode where like they uh were like heavily overpowered now, or they signed a lot of power. I was like, yeah, you can definitely tell like they brought on some good talent, and is also
yeah. I
kind of
mean,
like why I
that's
criticize Yazviak so much too, because I'm like, dude, you're a DP. Like, what are you doing?
I think he had a better game this game as well. Well, he had like really good moments and then like some really dumb moments too. Like he had some real high highs and some really low lows in my eyes. And we can talk about them in a minute. But yeah, I mean, you can just see like what bringing in just two superstar players. Like these are guys that just won the Euros what like last year, right? For Italy, just left big European clubs in Napoli and Juventus, and they're still, and like we just said, they're still kind of in their prime at I think 31 and 32 or something, like both still at 28 and 31. Like that's crazy. Like we just said, like guys like that are still getting contracts to go play in the top five leagues, and somehow Toronto have lured them. I don't know if it's blackmail or what, but they got them over here, and you can just see the different caliber of players that they are compared to anyone on the Charlotte team.
Yeah,
And got to give a shout out to Michael Bradley too. I mean, the dude was
yeah,
former
that guy's a
U.S.
beast out
national
there.
team captain, played in the Premier League and the Italian Serie A.
Yeah,
So
and I saw him
you
pushing
know,
Bronico around. I'm like, yeah, get him.
I mean, so like I know we just gave Veronica a lot of praise, but early on in the season, like like how Michael Bradley actually plays is like how people were talking about Bronico early
Right.
in the season, and that was like one of the players that kind of stuck in my mind. I was like, man, he's no like Michael Bradley, and
No, but I think that
um,
comes with
but
time.
he's yeah, he's definitely improving,
Yeah,
but
I think
and
people
there's
hopped on
there's a
that.
talent difference there too.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think people hopped on that Bronico train like just a little too fast, like the hype train. Because
Yeah,
in my eyes, like yes, he's better, but he still has to earn it.
yeah, and I mean you can work as hard as you want, but at some point you're capped by your talent.
Right.
And I kind of think that's where Bronico's at. Like maybe he can still improve, some. But he had said something in an interview like he had never been called up to any of like the youth national teams or even the national team now. And I'm like, man, do you watch like the U.S. national team play now? It's those midfielders are different levels. Like you've got Tyler Adams playing in pretty much Bronico's spot. He's playing in the Premier League for Leeds United, starting every game. You've got Weston McKennie playing at Juventus, being a starter. Like there's just levels to it, and it's just changed from he probably watched the same U.S. national team we watched growing up, and back then it was kind of like what the U.S. was really good at was like we had Dempsey and Donovan who were really good forwards, and then we had like Tim Howard. But other than that, and then Michael Bradley was kind of bursting onto
And
the scene.
Beasley.
But yeah, but what I was gonna say is like we weren't really known for like our center mids or anything. It's kind of just like we were known for like producing really good goalkeepers, and then like Landon Donovan and Dempsey, and then like I said, like kind of Bradley was an exception to that. Being a really good center mid. But other than that, like we didn't have that many players, especially not many that were playing in Europe. But now there's
Right.
so many playing in Europe now.
Yeah, and I think if his talent was up to the par to make it to the men's national at the age that he's at, he should have probably, or he should be, in some sort of European team.
Yeah, yeah. I think
But
Veronica's like the
hopefully he gets better.
like he's making the yeah. I think he's making the most out of he's getting the most out of his talent, which is great to see. Like that's what you want to see out of players. Um Like he's extremely hardworking. Like he's doing everything he can, and he's getting the most of it. But there's just levels to it, right? Like he is never going to be a Michael Bradley, a Tyler Adams, or even a Bernashevsky or an Insigne. Like I just don't think he's going to get to the levels.
Or Beasley.
Yeah, because he's 27. Like we would have seen it by now.
True, true. Um, and this is what his second MLS club already, so he's already kind of making his rounds.
Yeah, yeah, mm-hmm.
But
Yeah,
still, I'm not disappointed that he's on the squad. I'm glad for the most part that he is, and I think he had a good game against Toronto. I think
yes,
he
he
had a good
did.
game.
He's so unlucky to not. He's so unlucky to not already have like 4 or 5 goals over in the
Yeah,
last like 3 or 4 games.
if he
Like I'm
had
not
a
even
little
kidding.
more
Like he
power
he
to
should
that
have.
shot, I think the ones that he has shot would have went in. But his shot seems slow.
Yeah, yeah. But ever since scoring in New York, like he had some good opportunities in the Orlando game, like in this game, like he could easily be at 4 or 5 goals in the last 3 games, which is kind of crazy
Yeah,
and
true,
something we need.
true. Let's jump into still first half, but let's jump into Vargas. Um, he started on that with the right wing on the top third.
Yep.
What'd you think of his performance? I know we talked about that back heel shot, which was a beauty, but he had plenty of other shots there. I think he needs to dial that shot in just a little bit, control the height on it, but the power is there. Like the power is
Yeah.
definitely there.
Yeah. Um, I think I'd like to see him take players on a little bit more. I feel like he's still a little hesitant. Uh,
Yeah, I noticed that, and I felt like at the
I
beginning of
kind
the
of just
season when he first came in, he wasn't.
yeah. So I wonder if it's just like a coach has talked to him, been like, listen, more important for you to just keep the ball and find a teammate than like take someone on one and lose it. But I think he's got that kind of like flair and that speed and strength to take some guys on. But I thought great performance by him. Like you said, like created several shots. He had a good header on goal. Good space. Like I was kind of sad to see him get taken off. I thought his performance didn't warrant being subbed off so soon, but it is what it is.
Yeah,
What do you think of his performance?
no, I agree with you on that. Great performance. He kind of made the most out of the situations that he was put in. I do wish he would take more one. I feel like especially in this game, he had more opportunities for those one-on-one skill challenges that he just didn't take advantage of. But there was one
Yeah,
situation early on in the first half, around the 7th minute, where the ball got kind of crossed into like Vargas and Swiderski, and they like just couldn't make up their mind of who was gonna shoot it. And I saw a lot of that this past game where like, you get the ball into box and they just take too long to shoot. I
yeah,
saw it out
yeah.
of
That was
Bender,
a big
out of
issue
Yazviak. I saw it out of even Shinshinsky
out
in
of
the second
everyone.
half. Yeah.
Yeah, they all did it.
And like the Toronto guys, some of those guys got the ball right outside the box and they were like, I'm shooting. And they were like good, powerful shots. Whereas our
Yeah.
guys, they just seem to like, they're like, who's going to take the shot? Like afraid to shoot almost.
Well, like that's kind of been my biggest gripe with Sergersky and Yazwiak and even now Shinshinsky's doing it. Of like they just take so many touches in the box. Like there was a moment I can't remember if it was in the first half or the second half where Sergersky gets the ball and just takes like 3 touches in the box before he pulls the trigger and shoots. And it's like, dude, that's just too long. Like defenders can adjust by then. They can start putting pressure on you, like cutting angles off. The
Yeah.
goalie can adjust. Like if you get played into like a good position, just hit it first time.
Yeah. Bender had a moment like that where I think he had a breakaway ball. He was basically almost all alone in the box, and instead of taking a shot, he decides to like wait for backup, And like you said, by then the goalie has readjusted. Defense is now like onto which, like, you gotta catch him by surprise.
Yeah.
Um, Shinashitsky did the same thing in the second half. Yazviak did it like I know he did it once, um, where he like kind of adjusted to the right a little bit. I'm just like, man, you get the ball in the box and there's maybe one defender on you or no defenders on you, like you gotta shoot. You don't wait that long.
I mean, especially, I know we're kind of focusing on the first half right now, but like right away in that second half when Yazviak gets that
Yeah,
breakaway,
that's the one I'm talking about.
like, yeah, like, man, I feel like the only reason he didn't score is just because he took too long.
Exactly. And that kind of goes back into the whole issue of like the difference in talent of Toronto's DPs and ours, where like
Yeah,
it's
no,
just night and
totally.
day.
Even just some of the like plays that they set up between each other, like some of these passes that they
Oh yeah,
made,
yeah. Those
or just
1-2
like the
passes where
vision.
they're just like pass run. It was, that's not typical MLS.
Yeah. Who else do you want to cover in this first half?
Um, we covered already the 17th minute shot by Vargas with the heel. There was also that one goal kick that Kalina had around the 27th minute where like he passes it to Walks back to him, and I'm just like, what are you guys doing? Like this has backfired on us before, and it was just kind of,
Yeah.
to me, it was almost time wasting and very risky.
Yeah. One thing I did want to cover, and it can be either in the first half or second half, but and I guess maybe we can cover it in the second half more. But just I felt like we had a ton of corners and a couple of free kicks, and man, we just don't do anything with those. Like we were just so bad at set pieces. Yeah, I was trying to recall in my head like how many we've just corner kicks alone, like how many have we taken versus scored off of, and I think we've only scored off two corners all season, right? But we've been scored on from corners like so many times. I feel like at least every other game. Uh, I mean, how do you feel about that? Like, whenever we get a corner kick, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I feel the same way. Where when I was watching them take corners, I'm like, okay, I know corners are supposed to be kind of like a set piece, 50-50 ball type of deal, but if you like, I bet you if we went back and looked at it and did the math on it, it'd almost be like a 70-30, and 70 where we lose it.
Yeah,
But yeah, I
I was
think as
trying
far as
to.
scoring
MLS
off
doesn't.
corners, we maybe scored like 3 or 4 times. I know Ada Armour had one. Um,
And then Alcivar had one.
Alcivar had the second. Yeah,
I think Carujo had one.
I had her right. Yeah,
But actually, I don't think that was off a corner. Was I think that was off a cross.
maybe. But I mean,
That the play started from a corner and then got, I think, back out into a cross. So I don't even know if that counts.
yeah,
But I think it's only been 2 goals.
it might be that low. Yeah, you're right. And it's, I don't know. Anytime we get a corner, I don't really expect a goal scoring opportunity just because we've had so few. In fact,
Even with free kicks now, I'm that way.
oh yeah, yeah. Especially, I
I'm
don't
like,
think we have a real strong free kick taker, and I know we definitely don't have a I mean, the designated one we do have is not too accurate. I think Reyna would be a better one, but I
yeah.
I don't think he's gotten too many like great opportunities at it. But I just looked up the stats for the corner kicks. We had 7 overall, and Toronto had 3. And out of those
And
three
they scored
corners,
off
they
one.
scored off one. So
Yeah, that's crazy.
yeah,
I tried going to the MLS website to see if they kind of kept that stat of like, how many times we've been scored off and how many have we scored, but they don't really have it. Uh, but I think that would be like a pretty interesting statistic if someone can pull it together of like just how many we've given up versus how many like we've had. Like our conversion rate has to be so bad at that. Uh, and it'd be interesting to see like what the league average is,
yeah, yeah,
and kind of where we fall in that. Because I'm sure it'd be probably like bottom of the league.
yeah. But that's just
What did
another
you?
thing to
Yeah,
kind of improve on, especially as the season draws to a near, and these guys start to settle in like their permanent positions. as far as who's taking corners and um, just practicing those set pieces.
Yeah. What did you think of Serdarski's performance this match?
Not impressed.
Yeah, I kind of thought this was maybe one of his worst performances.
Yeah, and then don't I mean he had some good passes where he's involved other players, um, which I like, but I feel like he needs to be the finisher. Like he's in that role where he needs to put the goals in the back of the net, and I don't know if he's just not making the runs or our offense is not able to find him, or he just wants like the perfect ball placed to him. But
Yeah, I definitely think it's like a mix of a lot of that stuff. There was a couple times where you know he would make a run and just didn't get played through, and he throws his little temper tantrum, and that's kind of like what I'm over. It's just like every time something doesn't go his ways, he just stomps and waves his arms around, and I just think that has to affect your teammates, right? Like instead of kind of playing in like a free form way, you're probably like always feeling that pressure of like trying to get him the perfect pass or something, and it makes you have to think about it, which makes you slow down. And I just think his like attitude is so shitty, and I think it has to be affecting certain players, like especially young guys like Bender who are playing in that center mid role. Like I'm sure he has to feel some extra pressure whenever he sees, Serdarski stomping about and, crying and, being a little like hissy fit. Uh,
yeah, I
and there's a
wonder if
lot of
that's
times
why
where
like
he'll,
um I wonder if that's why like Bronico or Bender, well especially Bender instead of like shooting the ball, it was still in the first half around the 35th minute, but where he had that breakaway, and instead of him shooting the ball, I think he cuts back and tries to work it to Serdursky. Um, like I wonder if maybe that's where that train of thought developed. Is like, I need to get the ball to him, otherwise he's gonna get mad.
he's going to yell at me in Polish.
Yeah, yeah.
He's
Because
going
you're
to put
right.
some
I
kind
mean,
of
that
curse on me.
attitude does affect, and you see it. Like we as fans see it, so the his teammates definitely see it. Not only at the games, but most likely at practice too.
Yeah. And I get it. Like you get it if you make, a run or, you put yourself in the right position and someone doesn't get to the ball and or doesn't make the right decision to follow you. That can be frustrating. But like if we're 10 minutes into the game and you're doing that, like all right, that needs to stop cuz that just brings the whole team down. And I understand like he's not getting the best service all the time, but there's so many times too where he throws this little hissy fit and it like he takes himself out of like a play. Like there was, twice where I think we tried to get him the ball and it was misplayed and Toronto got it and he started, flapping his arms about and putting his head down. But then we won the ball back like right away and like players made runs and he's just like standing there like not doing anything because he doesn't realize what's going on. And it's like, dude, just put your head down and play. Like, get over it. Like, there's been plenty of times where you've made this, same mistakes. So
Yeah, we're just
just
taking like
play.
horrible shots when the ball has been placed perfectly to you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
because I mean, if
So
he makes those types of runs every time and he gets the perfect ball every time, the the goals would be there and like it would be high scoring games. And it's not like
yeah,
that. Like you got to shoot, 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 and eventually one of them goes in.
yeah. And I'm sure if you had like Bender or Bronico or McNeil or even Fuchs like in a private off the record conversation and ask them like, hey, is Serdarski annoying to play with because he does? I'm sure they would say yes. Like,
He's
there's
got to
no
be.
one that
'Cause he's annoying
playing
me,
with someone like
and
that.
I'm not on the field with him.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I just think that's something that he needs to clean up, or I think if he keeps it up next year and we do bring around like better midfielders, like that's why I'm excited to see Nuno Santos play, and maybe they start developing a connection. But like if we bring in better center mids that are getting him in these positions and he's still doing that, I think it might for like the betterment of the team maybe just move on from him because like there's just no way that creates a good environment for players, especially young players.
Yeah, yeah,
Like you're
because
just gonna ruin people's confidence.
exactly, because I don't want to see like um, Bender's minutes dwindle because of him or because I think that like Bender, he seems to have just like so much raw talent that's still like waiting to be developed that he's gonna
Yeah,
be, if he stays with the club, um, one of the 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 foundation, not the foundation, but just
like
um,
at the core.
yeah, he's like gonna be one of the core members of the club. Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah,
Where Swiderski could ruin that, and I would hate for that.
yeah,
And looking
and
at our strikers that we have now, like I agree with you. I don't think he's gonna be the one that fully stays. I don't think he's gonna last much more than maybe next season.
yeah, and he's definitely one of the more talented guys on the squad, but it's not like he is one of the best strikers in the world. Like I'm sure Charlotte can do better. Like you know what I mean? I just feel like he thinks he's a lot better than he is with all these like hissy fits and temper tantrums. Uh, and if it's gonna affect like team morale or development of the youth because of that, then I think they should probably just let him go or maybe send him back to Europe or something. And it's not because I don't think he's like talented or a good player or anything. And I think that gets lost with some of the fans when you like anytime you criticize Swiderski, people lose their mind and they're like, well, no one is talented enough around him or blah. Like they always have some excuse for him. And I'm not saying he's not talented or a good player, but I just think like in the long run that cannot be good for team chemistry.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. Um, there was a highlight that just played around the 25th minute, I believe it was, where Vargas has the ball in the right hand and he's kind of dribbling down, and Swiderski's running along the middle, and but Vargas decides to take the shot, and you can just see the arms go up right away of Swiderski, and it's just like, yeah, but I mean, should he have
But like,
passed it?
yeah.
Yes, but he's still kind of young and developing, but like, it's also
But see,
not a terrible shot.
I would also push back and be like, I don't know if the pass to Swiderski in that spot even is a good pass
Right, no, he's
because
also
it's gonna
covered.
get
He's got at
yeah,
least
like
two guys
he's got
on
a
him.
man on him. It's gonna be a tight angle. It's like he's left footed. Like his preferred foot is to his left, which is gonna be the side that the defender was on. So it's not like you can even get to your left if you did receive that pass anyways. Like so it's kind of things like that where like I don't know, like it's just like it's just you not that's not even like necessarily the right play to play Sergersky there. So like, why is he throwing that fit? And there was like
Exactly.
one time where, and it's not in the highlight reel, but I remember watching it in the stadium where like Fuchs wins the ball pretty high up our own field, and all Sergersky has to do is like make the run, and he just like holds the line there, waits for the ball to be played, and it's like, dude, no, just make the run. Like if you wait for the ball, like then it's just a foot race between you and the defender that's right on you. But like if you kind of cheat a little bit and curve your run like a good forward does, like Fuchs is going to play you that ball, but like he's not playing it to you because you're not making the run. So it's like you can't have it both ways of throwing temper tantrums and then like not doing like the correct thing all the time as well.
Yeah.
Like he's not the perfect player.
Yeah, he's got to make those early runs to where, like, when Fuchs hits it, he's just passing that last defender and already has, 2 to 3 steps on him. Not
Yeah.
Fuchs plays it and then you start running. I see what you mean, and you're absolutely right. It,
So that's just my little bit on him because that was probably the player I left the most frustrated with was Sergersky.
yeah. And also, good, talented players. We saw it out of Insigne and number 10 out of Toronto. Like, they'll make do with the opportunity that is presented to them. That first goal that was dropped on us, was it a good cross? No. Was it a pretty goal? No. But it still went in and it still counts, and that just boosts our morale even more.
Yeah. And he got nutmegged. So
Yeah,
can't
yeah, he
be
did.
can't be throwing temper tantrums when you get nutmegged. That nutmeg was disgusting.
Yeah.
towards the end of the second half on Swiderski.
I was like, Polish
Um,
nutmeg.
and then the last thing, and then we can move on, was I really hate how he does it towards everyone except Yazwiak. Like when Yazwiak messes up, there's no temper tantrum, nothing from either of them. Like if Swiderski does a play Yazwiak doesn't like, doesn't throw a tantrum. But like if anyone else does, throws a tantrum. It's so annoying. It's like, come on. Like it's more than just the two of you on the team. Like you're all supposed to be teammates.
Do you think we
Like
do it
just
though? I feel like sometimes we do it when like I could see Vargas shoot that ball way up and over. I'm like, that's a good shot, good look. But if Barnacle does it, I'm like,
uh
get him out, trade him.
maybe. But I'm not a professional that's getting paid.
No, that's true.
I'm an amateur podcaster. No, and like I get I mean shoot, like when we played in that adult league on Sundays or whatever, like I was always losing my mind whenever people didn't do the right thing. Um so I get it. Like it is frustrating to play that way. But you're a professional, like grow the fuck up. That's all I have to say. We can move on after that.
Yeah, I guess.
Anyone else you want to highlight in the first half? Oh, one thing we should highlight is we saw the debut of
Oh yeah,
Alassane Malanda.
yeah. How could
What'd
we?
you think of him?
Um, Not too bad for his first game. Um,
He had some sick passes.
did he? I didn't think he did anything that really stood out to me.
He had a
Um,
really good through ball to Bender, like that
y-
just put him in like 1-on-1.
yeah, that like around the 35th minute was it?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, but I think Bender really screwed that one up. I think Bender just should have took that shot instead of waiting for backup. I kept losing track between him and Lindsay though, just because like on the TV they all kind of blend
Yeah, in
in.
person you would be able to tell the difference. The dude is massive.
Yeah, yeah, no, yeah, but then
I think he's bigger than Jones. Like, not even kidding.
wow,
He's so tall,
I
and
did
he's only
notice that
20.
I don't know, Jones seems slow this game.
But he like covers a lot of ground.
I don't know, he just seemed like slow, and he seemed slow to react or slow to make decisions.
Yeah, some of his passes weren't like they were like the right idea, but not hit with like enough power.
Yeah, yeah.
So I wonder if he's feeling some fatigue or something.
But I
Because
don't
I mean,
see
he's
how.
been
He's
getting a
only
lot of
started
minutes.
what 2 or 3 games at the most.
Yeah, but he's gone from like not playing to all of a sudden, playing a ton of minutes.
True.
And that was a pretty physical game too.
It
I don't
it
know. I'm
didn't
just
seem
making
that. It
excuses because
seemed
I like
normal.
Jones.
Because extra minutes. What did we get? Like 2 at the end of the 90th and 3 at the 45.
Yeah.
You know,
I don't
nothing
know. Maybe it
crazy.
felt more physical. I think it felt physical there. There was a lot of energy in that stadium. You could tell it was like a do or die game.
Yeah, I will say. I think just watching it on the television, right around the 80th minute, right around when Reyna was getting ready to come on, I was like, "This game's over."
Oh yeah, yeah. We can go ahead and jump in the second half. Final words on Alisson Malanda, great player, huge upgrade from McCoon. I think next year it's going to be him, Orujo, and Sobozinski as like the main center backs. I think those
Yeah.
three guys are gonna kill it.
Actually,
Um,
speaking of him, I saw that he was on the Instagram. He didn't have that many followers. I think he had just a little over 1,000. But I sent him a message on Instagram saying like, "Hey, just awesome job on your debut." Said, "Let us know if you ever want to do a special guest spot in our podcast." So we cover all Charlotte FC games. You want to know what
do
he
you?
responded?
Was it something in French?
No,
What did he respond?
he didn't.
Figured.
So, maybe 50-50. He might jump on.
Yeah. One of the I don't know if we've ever told the story on the podcast, but when I first made the Instagram for Charlotte FC and I was following a lot of players, Koa Santos followed us for like quite literally maybe 10 seconds. I think then he realized we were like not a real big thing and unfollowed us before I could like screenshot it or anything.
No.
Uh, but I so he was an original follower for a little bit
Well, then
for
you can
like
just stay
10,
in the
15 seconds.
independence.
Yeah. um. Yeah. So I mean, jumping back to the second half.
We're a podcast for the people.
Yeah. um. Jumping into the second half. You know, like you said, I thought we came out the more dominant team, kind of picking up right where we left off. Uh, and it's kind of hard to say that because they scored so early, but we also had a chance to score so early.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
That's why I thought like
but it,
we were gonna win.
yeah, and it's funny you say that because like I was trying to have that mentality in the stadium, but like towards the end of the first half, after like seeing how many shots like we had and none were going in, like I remember, when I was in high school and Chelsea were kind of like fighting for the league with like Man United, they were always kind of like 1 and 2. I remember there'd be games where like, Chelsea were like 1 point ahead in the season, and Man United would like lose, and then we'd go play like Sunderland or Stoke, and it'd be like, all right, this should be an easy like win, and we'll be 4 points ahead of Man United, and that'll be huge like for the season. And it would be like 20 shots on goal, 15 on target, and they would just lose the game like 1-0. And I was like, this kind of feels like one of those games where we're going to outshoot and like outpossess and just like lose to a team that only gets like 3 shots and both are on target.
That definitely
Um,
was.
yeah. So it's weird how like you can get those games of you can kind of just feel it like, man, we're getting a lot of stuff off, but like none of it's going in. Like that is always just kind of scary. Or at least for me, that's always been like I always get a little bit worried about that.
Yeah, yeah. Especially when it's still 0-0 and it's like nothing's going in, and you're like, it doesn't take much. I mean, and we saw it, in the Orlando game where it was, tied up, and we were dominating for the most part, especially the second half. But it just took that one breakaway, and then we lost the game.
Yeah, I think the big difference here between the Orlando game is like I felt, and I think the team felt the pressure of like we have to win this game, um, because like once that goal went in, it felt like we started playing a lot more like panicky and like sloppier with like our passing and build up plays. We kind of started playing a lot more long balls again. Like it just felt like we were really trying to rush to get that, you know, um, tying goal, but at like the detriment of like the quality of play. I don't know. What did you think?
Yeah, they definitely seemed like more demoralized after that, and I don't know why. Because I mean, I guess it just sucks because now you have to, um, not only put in the equalizer then, but put in the other one. Because if you get that first goal, you can kind of coast for a little bit. But yeah, it definitely seemed like
But I just feel like when it
they were.
happens so early, you don't have to like rush it.
Yeah,
At
yeah,
least
like
not
they
for
kind
like
of like
another
the game
15
plan
minutes or
just fell
so.
apart.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't. And for that first goal, I mean, what's Walks
it was
doing?
kind of like fluky too.
I can't believe no one is covering, Insigne like an Italian DP. Like Walks is helping Bronico like double cover Bradley for no reason, and just loses track of Insigne. And it's like, dude, come on, like you are a veteran like center back. You have to be aware of where that guy is, especially like when you have such a big size advantage. Like that dude's only 5'4".
Well, yeah, and not only you lose track of your man, but like how do you lose track of the ball too? Like that ball's going way up and over, and like at
Yeah,
least
and he's
follow the
just
ball
like
and
in
get it
such a
out of
bad
there.
position.
Yeah, and I've said it before, and I'll continue to say it until he improves. But in that back line, to include the new um, starting center back, I still feel like Walks is our weakest link there.
Yep. Now that McCoon's gone, yeah,
Yeah,
I think he probably misses McCoon. Come on, man, come back.
McCoon was just making them look that much better. That's how we didn't
You, s-
notice.
you see, he almost scored
I saw
on the
that.
weekend.
I saw that.
Oh, I
That was
wish
a
he would have
banger.
scored that.
That thing was.
What's a bang?
That thing had some power behind it. I'm like, where was that at when you
Yeah,
were here?
it's like you never did this for us.
You didn't do anything while he was here.
Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, going next season, you got Sobozinski, you got Kuruho coming back off injury, and now Malanda. Like, yeah, I see Walks as the man out there.
Do you think
Probably just
Melando's gonna
used.
push on to the left side of the center back, or is Carujo gonna take
Uh,
that?
it'll be something. I think next season the pairing will be Malanda and Kuruho,
Yeah, Carujo being
at
on the
least to
right,
start. Probably,
most
yeah,
likely.
something like that. Yeah, which I'm excited for. I think that's a really good pairing.
Yeah, yeah, especially two tall, strong guys, but still,
Yeah, and Malanda being so young, I mean that's so exciting to see what he can turn into. I mean, at only 20 years old, like you have so much developing to do. You can get so good,
yeah, yeah, I
which
agree.
might mean he's not around for long.
Well, hopefully he stays.
Yeah.
Maybe he'll be
Trying to
like
think
a big fan of NASCAR.
who.
He'll be like, it's so
I
much better
love
than
this.
Formula One.
I mean, that's just not
I
true.
don't know if
Formula
that's
One
what's
is
over in
sick.
France or what.
That's in Europe, yeah. Yeah, they have the Monaco race,
Oh,
like
okay.
one of the most famous races.
I was thinking Tour de France, but that's bicycling.
Yeah, not quite Formula One. And on that first goal, I mean, what did you think of like Kalina being? I mean, I don't know. I kind of felt like that was savable, but it does take like the weird bounce.
He was pretty close to
So I
that
don't know.
post, and yeah, it did take that weird bounce. Um, still, I just think like the tracking on that ball like, by our players was pretty sloppy because it just
Yeah,
went right over everybody, and everybody just kind of looked right at the ball, and the only one that really truly tracked it wasn't what's his name, Insigne.
I think
Like he
so.
just
I'm
backed
probably
up, backed
pronouncing
up,
it
and then
wrong.
hit it, and he hit
Yeah,
it as like falling down.
yeah. Some of
So
our forwards need to take note of that.
yeah,
Yeah, he hit the
especially
first time.
Sudarsky.
Yeah. Um. I mean, what else do you want to cover in the second half besides the second goal?
Well, that second goal was sweet though. I mean, I hate to say it,
Yeah, I
but
mean,
that was
nothing you can
sweet.
do there.
Yeah,
That's just again like that the
I,
showcase of like the different levels and talent.
yeah, especially that guy. I mean, those two guys really showed out this game. Like,
Oh, this season they've put Toronto on their back.
yeah, very true. Yeah,
I think
I was kind of
Toronto's going to
hoping
be
to
an
see another
interesting
red card
team.
from Fuchs towards the end. I'm like, all right, we're not gonna
Yeah,
win.
that would
Like
have been sick.
somebody else clotheslined that guy with the afro.
um, what was I gonna say? Gosh dang it!
But
Oh,
right after that first goal, I think when did Shinishinsky come in? Not too long after
came in
that.
like like really early, which was
I felt like
that
he
was like
really changed
good
the
to see.
dynamic of the attack.
Really, you think so?
Yeah, I felt like we had more. I felt like more shots came out at least maybe 10, 15 minutes after he was put in. Um, I mean, one of them,
Yeah, he
he,
did have an impact like right away, but
right,
I feel like he kind of faded. The whole team kind of faded.
yeah. But yeah,
But yeah,
especially
I
I think
agree.
after that second goal drop, that's when they really started to slowly decline and just lose belief, basically.
Yeah, you could feel it. They were
Because
getting so desperate.
have we had a comeback win yet? Not that I recall.
Can't
If
recall
we have,
either.
let us know. But not that I
There
recall.
hasn't been many.
Yeah.
In the second half, we had 9 shots, one on target. In the first half, we had 10 and 3. Okay,
About
so
even.
pretty much the same.
Yeah.
Um, oh, what I was gonna say before, Toronto's going to be an interesting team to keep up with in the offseason because if they pick up a couple of more pieces, they could easily be the caliber of like New York FC or LAFC, like with just those two guys alone. Imagine they put some other uh, strong players around them. Like that's just going to be wild.
Yeah, yeah, they put in like a solid center back and like another good striker up there. Yeah, or even just like a another midfielder.
Yeah,
But I agree with you. Yeah, the one I was really mostly truly impressed by was their number 10.
yeah, Bernadinch.
Yeah, because besides besides the shot he had, I think he also had a header that was just barely scraped by Fuchs.
He had
Like
that back heel that almost went in.
yeah, that back heel. And then the second goal, like man, like no pressure was even put on him too. Like um, or at least it didn't feel like it. And then he just like nonchalant shoots it, and it just perfect placement.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yep,
was
I
really impressed
agree.
by those two guys. Hate to say it.
Yeah. Oh, got to give props where it's due.
Yeah, yeah, but I still think like our guys just stutter stepped way too much around the box.
Yeah. Just I mean it's honestly just like a talent difference. Like that's really what it is. I do think like if we can hold on to a lot of these young players, I think Charlotte have, especially if they develop and kind of fulfill the potential that we see in them. Charlotte can definitely have a very talented team, and I would not be surprised if they win the cup in a couple years. Um, but they've got to add, some. I mean, those two guys both, play for the Italian national team. They just won, the Euros. There's like no one on our team that's even like really close to something like that. You know, like maybe Swiderski, and he's the second choice striker for Poland.
Right.
It's just like, man, there's just levels to the game.
Yeah.
There's nothing more that showcases that than watching a Premier League game and then going to watch an MLS game. I'm not trying to hate on the league or anything, but if you want to like really see like how much talent there is out there and like the different levels to the game, like that is something to watch. It's just night and day.
Yeah, yeah, and they just like how they play off each other and the runs they
The
actually do
pace.
make. Yeah, oh yeah, the pace. Our I think our guys would be extremely gassed if they try to play at that level.
Yeah, and I know there's going to be people that are like, well, they beat Chelsea, like that.
Mm, not
Not
the
does
real
not
Chelsea.
count. Like, yeah, like a lot of those guys aren't even playing for the team right now that played in that night, and they were in preseason. Like, they're not even fit yet, and we were in the middle of our season.
Yeah,
Like, just totally different.
but I'm still,
Um,
overall pretty pleased with the way Charlotte has performed. Um, we're still only a couple points away from a playoff spot if
man,
everything kind of
stop
goes
it,
our way.
stop it,
Come on,
stop it, stop it.
I just gotta build up your hope so it can be torn
No,
down.
my hope died on Saturday.
What?
There's no way they make
There
playoffs.
is way.
There's no way.
Yes,
There's not enough games left.
there's a couple.
There's 6 games left, and they have to win all 6 outright. 2 of them are away games. Like,
And it starts Saturday.
and they're not even. It used to be you could count on them to win at home. They've lost the last 3 home games.
That's because you brought all that negative energy.
Hmm. Just
Every time I go, they win, except that one time I went with you because you brought it.
did they lose when we went? I don't even remember.
Yes. Wait, did they? No,
Dang,
maybe they
I don't. I
tied.
don't remember. Don't
I think
remember.
they lost.
I just know we scootered home.
Wasn't it against Chicago?
You might be right. I think. Yeah. Well, yeah. I think they've lost the last 3 home games. So yeah, that would have been
Dang,
the
even
third one. So yeah.
Atlanta's in front of us now. That stinks. We're
Oh,
in the
let's talk about
12th.
Atlanta for a second. Did you see they came out with like a new kit? or whatever, a New Jersey. I
Uh,
don't know if it's like a.
I didn't see it, but so my boss is actually up in town, and he's from Atlanta, and he went to the game when they played, I think Seattle.
Okay.
But he was telling me about the new kit that they came out with, and
Literally our kit.
is it? I'm
Yeah,
gonna have to
I'm gonna
look it up
find
real
it.
quick while I tell a story. Anyway, so he's like an older fella, and he had seen the flags, the Atlanta flags, and all that. So he said he was watching the game, and he said it wasn't until it was like almost over when he realized that he thought that the Seattle guys were the Atlanta guys because of the kit change. He was like, I was rooting for the wrong team the whole time.
That's hilarious. All right, I just sent it to you. They're coming out with a new black and mint collection, and has their. I guess it's not a jersey, just a hoodie and a hat. Uh, but it's black and mint, like our away kit, and then it has ATL on it, and above the T there's a crown. It's like, dude, how much more are you gonna take from us? Like, you will be hearing from my lawyers.
I haven't got it yet, but I'm gonna Google it.
I just texted it.
Well, I mean, you have like AT&T, so it's gonna take a day and a half to get here.
What AT&T is a superior? No, they're talking. All cell phone companies suck. I don't get it. It's 2022, and we have smartphones, and the phone part still sucks. It has always sucked. I don't understand. Cell phones have always sucked. Talking on the phone sucks. Texting's pretty good, but God, I hate talking on the phone. It sucks. It's never been good. It's been the same since it came out. The quality has been the same.
No, you're crazy. All right, so what you sent me was a hoodie, so
Yeah,
that's
that's all I've seen.
so that's not their new kit.
Yeah, I don't know if they came out with a new black and mint jersey, but they're coming out with a new mint collection.
It's a white one, isn't it?
I don't know.
Yeah, it's like a white and gray one. I don't know. I don't keep up with Atlanta. But anyways, he was rooting for the wrong team the whole time. You're the one that
That's
brought up the new kit. And you don't even know what it looks like.
uh, one other thing we should talk about in that second half was Fuchs' save. Did you see that?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Um, I think that was their number 10 that had that header, and Fuchs had to like scoop it out of there basically.
What a play!
Yeah, yeah, that was nice. Surprised he didn't like
Oh, I
tear his
found it.
hamstring.
I would have. I found the.
Bad
Does
time.
like does look like something, but it's not quite the same. But it is like our mint color. So stupid.
Look, you're talking to the colorblind guy. I don't know.
It's like a weird brown. It's the same weird brown we use.
This is why I like solid
Um,
colors.
yeah. No, but I don't have any other takes for this game.
Yeah.
It was devastating to lose it. A lot of fans were definitely upset. A lot,
Oh,
a lot of them
golly.
left early. It was crazy.
I just looked at the Eastern Conference. So Columbus has 36 points and we have 32. So
Yeah.
we're almost there.
So let's move on to that then. To me, I think playoffs are out of the question, and I'd like to see the team start integrating the new guys, letting them play as much time as we can,
Yeah.
and start putting in like some of the younger guys and inexperienced guys. Like, I think now would be the perfect time to like bring Chris Hagart back to the first team, bring Koa Santos back, like
Yeah.
let those guys get some more experience. Start Gaines, start Vargas.
Yeah, I want to see that third string goalkeeper. The one that did the penalty shootout. The tall one, not the short guy.
Yeah, yeah.
I want to
Mm,
see him
yeah,
back. I want to see Koa back once he starts following us again.
yeah.
Flip
Get to
flopper.
follow us. Um,
Maybe even Brian. Bring him in around the 80th minute.
I I think so. I don't like literally nothing to lose if you give him like 10 minutes a game.
Oh yeah,
Like let him get some experience.
he
Like
could even get another handball.
yeah, put him up top. Um, yeah, so I think that's what the team should do going forward. Like I just think the playoffs is too far out of reach, and I think you lose out on valuable experience for certain guys if you just keep putting like the quote unquote starters on, and like just hoping for a miracle. Like I don't see it. I think this would be a good opportunity to, you know, just start prepping for next year. Integrate the new guys, like just start playing like some really good soccer, you know, and use that as like recruiting material basically for this next transfer window in the wintertime. Where it can be like, look, we brought in these three new pieces. It was a little too late for us to make playoffs, but like we are, with these three new guys, and if you come join us, we'll definitely be like a playoff contender. Like that's how I think the team should kind of go forward.
Yeah, no, I agree with you on that. I would say it's a very long shot. Still not quite out of reach, but it's a very long shot if we make the playoffs. But yeah, definitely, move on past the main starters and start experimenting again. Um, you never know what might happen, and that's kind of how we found some of the better talent was just taking those guys that were not performing, experimenting with a new squad, and we found like I think a better rhythm.
Yeah, yeah. Um, all right, and so then the next kind of thing I want to talk about is, what are your thoughts on Latanzio? Going into the next season, should he get the head coaching job? Should we find someone more experienced? Uh, what do you think we should do there?
Um, it's a. I think he should. I'll just cut to the chase here instead of dilly dabbing around it. I think he should get the coaching job for the next season, even two maybe, just to give him a full season and then see what he can do with the second season. Um, he's done wonders with the squad that was given to him. He completely changed the lineup. We started winning games again. He gave us hope. So yeah, I definitely think he's earned the job.
All right, so I'm not trying to set you up or anything, but this was just something interesting that someone posted online. Miguel's record when he was head coach was 5-8-1. We're 5-2-0 at home. We scored 13 goals and allowed 18. Atanzio's record is also 5-8-1. We are 3-4 at home, and we have scored 21 goals and allowed 26. They both have the same goal differential, but um, I just thought that was kind of interesting when you look at it record wise. But to me, I think the on field performance has looked way better under Latanzio. And I also think he has had a way harder schedule. Like, if we were to go back and look at like who we played, I think we caught some teams at the right time while they were struggling, and then we also just like beat on some of like the weaker teams in the league. As we're now we're kind of playing all the top of the table teams, and the talent difference is being exposed a bit more.
Yeah, I agree. Like some of the tougher teams that we beat that we didn't expect to beat was both the New York clubs, the Red Bulls and the City.
Yeah,
Especially City. We nobody expected to win that game and pull that one out of his hat. Um, but he also had some games where like Miami or even this last one Toronto. Well, I mean I expected us to beat Toronto, but they did beef up their squad. But anyways, like Miami, I didn't expect us to lose that game. It didn't look like we were going to lose
yeah.
that game. Uh, even though they might have the same stats, I think Latanzio has been a better coach um, for the squad. Like you can just tell by like you said, their how they've been playing, their attitudes, and just formation wise.
And the progression of
Yeah,
a lot of
exactly.
players, like Bronico being the big one, like
The
Mackenzie
team
Gaines
development.
being another one. Yeah, like it's just he has clearly helped players get better. Than faster too than I think Miguel was, and especially the stuff that came out and what we heard about Miguel. I don't think some of these guys would have ever gotten better just because of his coaching style. But yeah, my my take on it is if we aren't going to keep him as head coach, we need to find someone like as fast as possible uh, that wants to play like a similar style or improve upon the style. Um, but also, I think we should keep Latanzio on as like that kind of like uh, man to man, like developing kind of coach, like someone who really works one on one with players. I think that is what he's done really well on, at least from a lot of the interviews from players and what some people around the club have said. He's especially again like Bronico said it, like he sits and watches films with you and tells you like this is where you should make the run or this is where you should look at like this is what you can improve on. Like he's very hands on one on one, and I think a lot of guys have kind of reap the reward for that. Again, like Mackenzie Gaines looks way better. Reyna looks really good. So I just I think he is someone that the club should try to keep on staff at least for that, especially with how young of players we have.
No, yeah, I agree. I agree 100%. And then I think one last thing I was gonna say about Latanzio was just like his coaching style. I think you mostly covered on it, but he doesn't have just like a set lineup. It's also how your performance is. It's not just based on favorites.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
that's like one thing I always liked about him. Um, but with that, I think he also has room to improve, especially I think on the just the sub timing and choices. Because like when I saw Rios going in, I was like, man, there's why.
yeah.
I was just like,
When
why?
the
Yeah,
white flag has been
yeah.
thrown.
That's basically when I saw Rios going in. I'm like, it's over. It's
Yeah.
over. um, and I was gonna ask you now that it's like almost the end of the season. Is the New York the last home game we have, or do we have one in October?
I think Columbus
Oh yeah.
game, that
Um,
that remake one,
but what I was
or
gonna
the
ask you real
rescheduled
quick
one.
was who's some of the players that uh, you might expect to see gone come transfer time,
Oh, I mean, definitely Rios. Like
right?
it just doesn't make
Rios
sense
and
to keep him
Alcivar come
on.
to mind.
Yeah, the Alcivar one kind of, he's young, so it kind of stinks to see him go, but just been so inconsistent, and there's just so many players at that spot. Like, I don't know. He'd have to have a really good preseason. Um, I don't think they'll get rid of him in this off season, but if he keeps playing the way he's been playing, especially early on next season, like I think they'll get rid of him. But I think he's considered a young DP, so I think they will probably be more enticed to keep him a little bit longer. But if he keeps up the way he's been, then there's no way he's here next year around this time.
If you had to make a prediction as a like a surprise departure, who do you think it would be?
Oh, that's a good question.
Mine would be Yazviak. Like I think he
Nah.
hasn't been playing that much, and the times he has played, with the exception of maybe this game, has not been that great. Where I could see Latanzio getting rid of him, trying to do like a 2-for-1 type of deal where he gets rid of him and Rios for just a better overall striker. Like
I
that's
think
something I would do.
the issue with Charlotte FC though, and I don't think Latanzi is going to have that big of a say in that kind of stuff. Honestly, it feels like the front office has more of a say in that. At least like the way the contract stuff went with Shinashinsky and like how the transfer window went, like getting players so late, and just how even when Mar talked about it, like how it was kind of up to the front office on who they brought in, and they listened to him a little bit, unlike some of the players. But I don't know. I think the front office will be more. involved in that than Latanzio will. Which is kind of different than like what you and I are used to seeing, where it is kind of like up to the manager or the head coach to make those transfer decisions. I think it'll be a little bit different for Charlotte, and I think they have invested too much in Yazwiak um, to let him go after just like 2/3 of a season.
True. Yeah, true.
I think Reyna could be one that we see gone just for
Not Reyna.
like I know, which I think would be a mistake, but just with like the depth in the position and
Yeah.
like his age and stuff, like maybe they just move on from him. Um,
He's so talented, though.
yeah, I think so too. I think Awful probably won't be here next year. I think he's probably gonna retire.
True.
I don't know.
Although, I mean,
And
he looks like he's got another 2-3 seasons in him, at least.
maybe, yeah,
Just from his play style, he doesn't seem like he's tired, or he keeps up just as fine.
yeah,
But who
yeah.
knows?
Trying to think of who else. Kind of it really.
Yeah, and I'm
I
also
mean,
worried a
I
little
wouldn't
bit
be.
about Jones, just because whenever,
Nah, I think he'll stay.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, I guess we would
he's
need him as a
young
sub.
and yeah, and they put them in, and he's improved over the course of the season. Um,
Yeah, he's put some
I wouldn't
goals
be
in.
surprised if Swiderski left.
Yeah, yeah, true. I wouldn't be surprised if he
Because
left either. Although I wouldn't be disappointed either.
yeah, just because I could see like a low table team like in the Premier League or Serie A or something like over in Europe needing someone like him for like depth, um, or just trying to sign a new striker or something. Like I could see him going back to Europe for that, especially in a World Cup season. Like I don't know.
Yeah, I wish our scouts or somebody would go over to the Liga MX, get some strikers from over there.
You go to the Brazilian CDA,
Well,
get some
yeah,
Brazilian players,
yeah,
get the next Neymar.
or get some. Just get some help there. Maybe just maybe you need more than
Around
one
him,
Brazilian to like activate the Brazilian power,
maybe.
or just give him the number
Yeah.
10, and then he'd be like, all right.
No, he is not worthy of the number 10. I don't know who is, but maybe we got to put that jersey away for a little bit.
Yeah,
Only break it out for a real special guy.
yeah. We'll see how some of these guys that we just signed do. I mean, that is one thing I'm looking forward to now that it is kind of coming to an end and playoffs are somewhat out of reach. Is like that's the positive
Somewhat.
part. Yeah, but you'll get to see more of these new signings.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm very excited about the new signings. Um, I think like Malanda's tape was probably like the least exciting, and with how well he played, that's like really good signs of like what these other two guys could probably do.
Yeah, yeah. There was the that one center midfielder. See, I already forgot their names. And then there was the
Santos.
other. I think there was that one right center back. Uh, both those
I
guys.
think he's just a right back.
Yeah, the right back. Um,
Yeah, Nathaniel Bryan.
I think so. I know it started with a B. I should know their
Yeah,
names, but I'll know them once they play more. But yeah, those tapes
yeah,
looked much better than the Melandas.
yeah, yeah. Nathaniel Bryan and Nuno.
That's what I said.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. All right. Anything else
No, who do we
that you
play
want to touch
next?
on?
Cincinnati.
Yep, away. So see how that goes.
Win. That's a win. This is going
I
to
mean,
be
we
a
beat them at
surprise
home.
win.
Beat them at home. They should beat them.
Yeah.
We'll see. See.
Wait, we beat them at home?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
We beat
yeah.
them
We
at
should
home.
definitely win. That's how it goes. We beat them at home, we beat them away.
That has not played out. Like I think one. Yeah. I mean, shoot, man. The rest of our schedule is still really tough. You got Cincinnati, and then
Yeah, then you got New York coming back mad. I think New
yeah,
York has
Philly
had kind
coming
of a bad
back.
streak lately.
Yeah, we caught them at a good time.
Yeah.
Well, let's see. I've got the schedule here
Then
in front of me.
LAFC again,
Uh,
I think.
no,
No?
no, we got Cincinnati away, and then we're home, hosting New York City FC, and then we're away to Chicago, home to Philly, home to Columbus, and then the last game of the season is away to New York Red Bulls. That's going to be a heck of a game. That'll be a good way to end the season.
Where's Columbus?
The 5th, October 5th.
That's not showing up on my radar at all. I'm looking at the sofa.
Maybe it's not showing up because it's the rescheduled game.
Oh, okay, that's why. Yeah. All right, cool.
And that we play a lot of games in October. We play 3 games in 8 days.
Yeah, I see they're
It's
coming
tough.
out with some sort of theme for October. Oh, I think you got to get there early for the New York game. They're giving out something. I forget what they're giving out.
They gave out a little tiny soccer ball at this game.
I think they're giving out like a bobblehead on New York.
Oh, that's cool.
Oop.
All right. Well, any shout outs or anything?
You know what? Let me look. I'm sure we do. Because we are very popular.
Big time.
Oh,
Big timers.
18 rating. We got a 1-star rating.
Oh my gosh. That's so rude.
By who?
Bunch of haters. I
It
don't
was
think it'll show
Koa.
it. Does who?
Koa Santos.
Oh, how dare he? Definitely not getting in the game now.
No, I don't know. It doesn't say. It brought our average down from 5 to 4.8.
That's so rude.
That's it. I'm out.
Well, you guys should help us get back to a 5-star rating by leaving a review in Apple Podcasts. And if you want to write a review down there, we will read it out on the podcast and give you a shout out. Or you can comment and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And if you want to interact with us more, we're on Twitter and Instagram at offsides_CLTFC. But other than that, that's going to be it from us until next week. Bye.
Hasta mañana.